Character interactions are finally, fully back in force at the Disney parks. You're ready to go meet them, but you're not quite sure how it works, or maybe you want a reminder. Here's 18 rules to follow when meeting the characters at Disney. Character interactions are back and you're ready to go meet the Disney characters. It's an exciting time. I love meeting Disney characters. I absolutely go see them when I'm at the parks. But there's always that little bit of trepidation and what do we do and what rules do we follow? So thanks so much to the Disney Food Blog. Great YouTube channel. They've also got a great website. This list comes from them for the most part. I will put a link in the description, but I've also got a lot of input on this. So here are 18 rules to follow for the Disney character meet and greets. Number 1, wait patiently for your turn. Okay, this should be a no-brainer, but you would be surprised how many people don't want to wait in line, or think they have an excuse to cut in line, or that they're special, or hey, little Johnny needs to get up there. Everybody's waiting, everybody's paid the same. Wait your turn. It's not going to hurt you. Be patient. Use the time to watch the character, to prepare your kids for the character, to prepare yourselves to meet the character, so when you're ready, you're ready. And that leads me to number 2. Get your autograph books and other things ready before you meet the character. This is something as a photographer that would drive me nuts. When people have been waiting in line, they've been watching the interactions, and then they get up to the character and go, oh, we need to get our autograph books. Where are they? Which bag? Are they under the stroller? Whose purse? Oh, what page should we sign? Seriously? This would drive us bonkers. Use that time as you're waiting to get your autograph books ready, to get them opened. If you've got several of them, open them up and stack them on top of each other so they're easy to get to. Be prepared when you get up to that character. That way you can just hand it to them, get it done, and get them out of the way instead of wasting everybody's time with those things. I mean, really. This isn't a hard thing to figure out. If you've got something else for them to autograph, have it out. If you've got a prop or a gift, have it out and ready to go, so that way, as soon as it's your turn, you can get up there. Number 3, be mindful of other guests' time. This is part of the reason you should be prepping ahead of time, but also, when you get up there, don't waste huge amounts of time. If you've got a big group, do one group shot and then maybe families. Don't have every single person have to do an individual picture. My goodness, we'd have groups come up, they'd have 20 people, and everybody wanted their individual picture with Mickey, and it would take forever. And by the time the last of them are going, we're just like, yeah, we really don't care because you've wasted everybody's time, and we're just snapping. Don't do that. Don't putter around, don't mess around. Be respectful of everybody else. You waited a while, everybody else is still waiting too. At the same time, number 4, take your time with the characters and enjoy the interaction. Wait a minute, you just told us not to waste a lot of time. Don't waste time, but enjoy your time with them. They are not just a photo prop. Don't just walk up and go, hi, and then leave. That sucks for everybody. Take a little time, interact with them, talk with them, ask them a question about their movie or their storyline, or do something fun with them. Take a few moments to give them an opportunity to interact, to play. If it's kids, high fives. If it's Pluto, kids like to pet his nose. Make sure you ask first. Do something fun with the character so it will be memorable, that it won't be just,
oh yeah, we got our picture with Mickey. I couldn't tell you anything else other than we got our picture with Mickey.
Make it worth the wait in line. Don't abuse the time, but definitely take some time to make it fun and memorable for everybody. Give that character a chance to interact. And you'd be surprised. If you give them an opportunity and something to interact with, they're going to do it and you'll all have a much better time. Related to that, number 5, be respectful of the characters. Please realize that they have their storyline and they need to fit in that. Don't be asking them questions like,
So, are you a blonde in real life?
What time you get off work?
Are you single?
come on now. Let them stay as the characters. Don't try to break them out of character. Don't do something that's going to make them respond in a way a character shouldn't. Don't act inappropriately. No, Jasmine is not interested in going out on a date with you. Be appropriate, be respectful of the characters and their stories. Help them to maintain that. You're not being cool when you come up and act like a smart aleck and ask if they've got air conditioning in their heads. You might have one in yours, but they don't. Be respectful. Related to that, number 6, don't ask characters to do TikTok dances or whatever the latest fads are. Okay, now, Mickey will do his hot dog dance because it's his cartoon show. Sometimes. Not always. Ask him. But the characters are not going to be doing the latest fad. Don't ask him to dab. That would drive me nuts when I was there.
Hey, Mickey, will you get...
Really? Just don't. Don't ask him to perform the latest fads. Let him stay in their storyline. It's annoying. It's not a good picture. It's not a good moment. It doesn't age well. Just don't. Next, don't try to trick the characters. Now, I did kind of say this already, but honestly, don't try to set them up to do something wrong. Okay, I did have the one time with Kylo Ren where I asked him, when are you going to actually beat somebody that fights back? And it was funny, but it still stayed within his storyline and I got a great reaction. But the point wasn't to trick him into doing something wrong or that wasn't Kylo. It was working with the storyline. Don't think you're being smart when you try to get them to break character or do something that doesn't relate to the story. It's not cool. Nobody's going to like it. You're not going to get the response you're wanting. It doesn't make you look cool and fancy and everything else. Just don't. Be a kid. An appropriate kid with the characters, not a smart alecky adult, okay? Adults can be kids too. Remember, Disney's for kids of all ages. Speaking of kids, keep an eye on your kids if you've got them. Oh my goodness, these families, most families were great. They'd keep the kids with them, but we had sometimes that these kids would run wild and drive us nuts. You would see kids ditch the family and go charging off and run into the middle of other families' pictures. They would try to punch and kick the characters. That's not cool. It's not funny. They'd be running around in the rooms all over the place while other people are trying to interact. And the parents are just in there going,
Isn't Johnny funny?
no, he's not. And you're not funny either. Be a parent. Be an adult. Keep your kids under control. Be respectful of the other guests' time and space. You don't want weird random strangers running up into the middle of yours and punching your family in the crotch, do ya? And yes, I did see that a couple times. I did actually see a family get walked out of the character interactions without meeting the characters because they wouldn't rein in their kids. Don't be that family. Keep your kids under control and acting appropriately. Don't mistreat the characters. Don't mistreat families. Keep your children under control. Doesn't matter what age they are. Oh, and speaking of that too, tell your kids flying tackles of the characters are not a good thing. Okay, we know kids get excited sometimes and they can't wait. Rein them back a little bit. I watched a couple times where characters got knocked over by kids tackling them in their exuberance and excitement. I did watch a character injure their back because a 10-year-old might have not even been 10, but they were so excited and they tackled the character and knocked him over, and they got hurt. Don't do that. I know it's tempting, but be appropriate. Hugs are fine in an appropriate way. Help your kids out. Help everybody around you. Keep your kids under control. That also means too, and I did see this, where you would get toddlers that would get excited with the princesses, and they would try and play hide and seek under the princess's dress. Don't do it. Don't be you. Don't ask characters to autograph your face, or your chest, or your back, or your arm, or any other body part for that matter. Characters cannot sign body parts. They can't sign clothing that is being worn. If you want them to sign your shirt, don't have it on. Okay. Have a shirt on. Do not be wearing the shirt you want them to sign. They cannot sign body parts. The one exception sometimes is casts. And that's really up to the character. It's kind of a gray area. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. Outside of a cast, if it's anything being worn, they can't sign it. If it's a hat, take the hat off, give it to them, and then they can sign it. But they can't sign it on your head. They don't sign body parts. They don't do tattoos. Characters cannot hold your child, your baby, your toddler. They can't hold them. The gloves and stuff they wear sometimes are awkward. They don't want to take a chance of dropping your child. Not only that, but if your baby is scared of the character, them holding it is not going to do anybody a favor. They cannot hold babies. The closest you can get is you can put your baby on the ground, and then the character can sit or stand behind them and take a picture, but they can't hold the child. Please don't ask them to do that. Especially if you've got a child that is terrified, there actually is a trick to get a child to get a picture with the character who's scared. If the character is standing here, you put the adult between them and the character holding them, and you put the kid over here. So that way you've got character, adult, kid. Oh, and parents, if you want a good picture, don't keep looking at your child and going, "Are you looking at the camera?" Because all you're going to get then is a picture of you looking at the child. Adults, look at the camera. Let the photographer do it. The photographer's going to get that kid's attention. Trust me. We know how to do it. The parents are the worst. Parents, look at the camera, not the kid. But no, the characters cannot hold your kids. They can't hold the adults either. So no, Gaston's not going to show his strength by holding the ladies. Yeah, I did see somebody ask for that once too. They also cannot hold your baby announcement or wedding announcement or things like that. Generally speaking, the characters aren't supposed to hold anything that could possibly look like advertising. Even engagement rings, they're not supposed to hold. Sometimes they'll bend it, but the character is not going to be the one to give the ring. A picture of Goofy proposing to somebody is not gonna happen. Sometimes. I've seen this only a couple times. I've also seen no's on this. Sometimes you can ask the character attendant if Mickey can hold the ring until you ask for it, and then Mickey can pass it to them. Sometimes. Many times the answer to that is no. Oftentimes, the best way to go about that is to call guest services ahead of time and see if they can work out something like that, if that's what you really want to do. But generally speaking, the characters can't do it. Now, they're going to get excited for you. They're going to be happy for you when you show it, and they'll applaud and everything else. But generally, they can't be the ones to hold it. That leads me to my next one. No brand names, advertising, or active drinks when you are there. First off, don't bring food and drink up to the character. They don't want it spilled. They don't want it messing up their costume. Leave it on the side. Put it on the floor as you come up, and then pick it up again on your way out. We know it's hot. We know you want your drink. Get that. But you can't bring it up close to the character because we don't want anything spilled on them. At the same time, no brand names, no logos, nothing inappropriate on the shirts. If you're wearing a shirt that has a Bleeding Skull death metal band, they're not going to let you stand there and take the picture. If you've got brand logos on there, especially for alcoholic drinks, if you've got a marijuana leaf on your shirt, even just regular soft drinks like Pepsi or Coke, if you've got a logo on your shirt, expect them to want you to turn sideways, or they may have Mickey kind of hold his hands out with his hand conveniently over your shirt to hide that logo. Did that a lot. We may space your family out so there's somebody hiding the shirt. There's ways that the photographers can position people to hide logos and things. If that photographer is asking you to move around and change position some, there's a good reason for that, and it may be what's on your clothing. And speaking of the food and drink, don't bring alcohol to meet and greet. Please, don't bring alcohol to a meet and greet. In fact, don't do a meet and greet if you've been enjoying your way around the world and you're not quite there. Drunk guests are not fun. They're not funny. If you've been enjoying your alcohol, think about whether you should be doing a meet and greet, But please don't bring your alcoholic drinks into the meet and greet areas and nowhere near the guests. Sodas and stuff get tipped over sometimes on the floors. Alcoholic drinks, oh gosh, they make the whole thing reek. We had one time we actually had to close a character meet and greet because somebody had brought in their big mug of beer from Germany and spilled it, and we had to get the whole thing shampooed and deodorized and just leave the alcohol outside. Okay? If you're getting autographs, bring a character-friendly pen. A lot of people will bring up just a regular ink pen, and for the characters' hands, that can be hard to hold if you've got a big old glove on. If you're not sure, take a pair of gloves, put them on, and then try to hold a pen and sign with it. And then remember that the characters' gloves are going to be even bigger than that. So regular pens are tough. Sharpies tend to work better. They're a little bit thicker, a little bit sturdier. I especially like the clickies. Those were great. Because, again, they're a little bit thicker and a little bit easier for the characters to hold when they're signing. The fat markers actually work too. They can sometimes be a little too fat, but the Sharpies are great. If you're not sure, ask the character attendant. They almost always have pens available. So if you don't have a pen, ask the attendant. They will probably provide one for you. Prepare your kids in advance. This was something I was surprised at how many kids didn't know the characters, didn't know what they would look like, didn't realize how big they were going to be. When my kids went to Disney the very first time, they were 4 and 5 years old. We had spent months showing them the Disney movies and who the characters were and getting them familiar with it. But we also prepped them for the fact that Mickey isn't going to be this tall. Mickey's this tall. Mickey's a big mouse. And then if you meet Woody, Woody's like up here. They're a lot bigger than they expect, and they can be terrifying. Make sure you've prepped before you even get in line. Prep your kids for what they're going to see, for who they're going to meet, for what is appropriate, so that way they don't get up there and freak out. Kids freaking out when they meet a character isn't fun for anybody, and my goodness, I'd watch parents then get ticked off and upset at their child for being terrified because they hadn't been prepared ahead of time, and it was like, if you'd taken just a few minutes and then calmly reassured your kids, you wouldn't have had this problem. For character gifts, tell the attendant ahead of time. Gifts are great to give characters, but make sure that you let the attendant know so they can let the character know if need be. And make sure it's appropriate. Generally, no cash. Gift cards are usually not a good idea either. They kind of fall into the cash rule sometimes. Sometimes you can work it, sometimes you can't. No home-baked goods. As much as they appreciate you taking all that time to make those cookies and muffins, because they don't know where they've been or who's cooked it, you can't give that to them. They're not going to be able to take it. Unless it is pre-packaged, sealed items. That they can have. So snacks are fine. I would take granola bars for the chipmunks, candy bars, boxes of candy, things like that. You can give them pins, gifts generally under $20 in value, handmade pictures and drawings and thank you cards and stuff like that are fine. Let the attendant know, because the attendant's probably going to have to be the one to hold on to it until the character gets the break. Pins are fine too, but make sure that they are appropriate gifts. $20, $25, your top limit, and under. Plushes work, especially, Buzz Lightyear. Love getting little plush Buzz Lightyears and Buzz Lightyear dolls and stuff. That was always cool. Number 17, preserve the magic for everybody around you. Not just the kids, but everybody. Okay, yes, we know that's just a person in a costume. But man, when they're out there, they are that character. So at the risk of breaking the magic just a little, backstage, we would talk to our friends of the characters. And we would have a great time. We'd help them put their costumes together. We would help them get ready. But as soon as they hit the stage, that is that character. That is Mickey. That is Donald. That's Buzz Lightyear. That's Woody. That is whoever. Preserve that magic. When I was at Disneyland with my family, and I've told this story, and the Mad Hatter went by, and my daughter and I were both like, oh, Mad Hatter, autograph, let's go. And we went charging off after him. Got to get pictures and stuff. And my sister looked at my son and went, he does know that is just... Yes, I know, but in the park, it is the Mad Hatter. It is no longer somebody else. Preserve that magic. Don't ask questions or say things that would break down that magic, especially in front of kids, because they don't know it's not really them. It's going to be more fun for everybody, too. If you really just can't break out the imagination, don't go near the characters. But most of us at least have a little bit of imagination we can pretend. Pretending is fun. Imagination is good. Have the figment of your imagination active, and it will be more fun for everybody. Lastly, number 18... Please don't yell, Andy's coming. When I worked with the Toy Story characters, that was the most annoying thing. Have somebody walking by,
Andy's coming!
expecting them to all drop to the ground. Nope. Very short-lived. I mean, for like 2 days, kind of short-lived when the Toy Story first came out. When I was there, the response was, Andy's at college! And usually the photographer or the attendant or somebody would yell at the guest, say that to the guest in such a way to basically be saying, without saying it, shut up, jerk. Even if they did that, there's a family up there meeting and greeting them, taking pictures, getting autographs, having fun, and you want the characters to just drop down, fall in the middle of this? It's not funny. Stop it. Don't do it. Don't do stuff like that. Preserve the magic for everybody. And if you really can't enjoy that magic, please don't go near the characters. So there's 18 rules to follow when you're meeting the Disney characters. Did I miss something? Would you like to know more about something? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you as well to my financial supporters, my YouTube members, my patrons. I couldn't do this without them. And thank you so much for watching. God bless. Here's 18 rules and tips for meeting... Yeah. So we're ready to meet... Oh my goodness. Knock my wedding ring off. That would be the dog. That would be Discord. Kids freaking. Don't forget to hit that like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.